How's it going, everybody? Welcome to our show. I'm gonna pull this over here real quick. I'm going to introduce you guys to a handful of great guests here. We have Onashi Press in the house, but what we're going to do is we're going to pull them all in. We have a slew of amazing creators on with us today, right? And we're going to bring them right in here, but we're going to do that just after this quick intro, and we're going to talk to Onishi Press about Kickstarter, their Kickstarter that they're got running right now, which is called TarMucks. We're gonna bring everybody right in here in just 1 second. We'll see you guys. All right, welcome to the show. We have Jayel and Lynsey from Onishi Press. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, how are you, Joey? That intro is awesome.
Yeah,
you really did that up.
Yeah, man, I worked hard. I wanted to make sure that this was a little bit more professional than the last time that I had you guys on my other shows.
You're always a pleasure to talk to. You're always professional.
I had
to always
step it
been
up for you guys.
supportive. We're so stoked to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You guys have an amazing Kickstarter going on right now, and I want to talk to you guys about this. My vocals seem a little too loud. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this. I've been following you guys for it's been years now, but this one in particular is so cool because I feel like it's the one of the coolest ones. You guys have all kinds of cool ones, but this one is the most green ever. Tell me a little bit about TarMucks. First of all, give everybody a little bit of intro of who Onishi Press is, and then let us know about the Kickstarter.
Hi, I'm Jayel Draco. I am the co-founder and lead designer of Onishi Press. And
this is Lynsey G here. I am sort of the word person for Onishi Press. I am a co-founder and the editor-in-chief and a writer for Onishi Press.
And Onishi Press is an independent publishing company, mostly of comic books. We also are venturing out into prose and merch and other
illustrated fantasy
books. We're working on some tabletop RPGs. So we've got a few things coming down the pipe. And mostly, our mission is really about collaboration over competition and to try to figure out how we ourselves can learn new and, experimental at times, but hopefully helpful ways that we can, give back to the ecosystem, to the community that we thrive on. And so, one of the ways that we do that is just reaching out, connecting the dots, collaborating, saying, hey, this person's got this going on and they need this. That person's got that and they need this. And how do we, connect those dots?
Yeah. Comics is an inherently collaborative medium, so we're trying to really make that the goal. That collaboration is one of those rising tide lifts all ships situations. So
that's amazing. I love what you guys have been doing. Tell me a little bit about TarMucks. What is TarMucks? Number one, I love this because it has to do a little bit of coffee, right?
Yeah.
What is TarMucks? So TarMucks is a corporate coffee franchise that exists throughout almost all of our series. And it exists in a multiverse. So there's all different series from different worlds that this corporate franchise exists in. And we've been using TarMucks as a kind of sometimes in the background, sometimes in the foreground. It's like our satire company. We have characters meet up at TarMucks. We have TarMucks in the background when characters are walking. We have some characters who are like super all about TarMucks and are always drinking TarMucks, like Tracy Queen.
Yeah, our characters run on TarMucks.
Characters from the pack are always meeting up at TarMucks. Mr.
awesome.
Guy has plenty of run-ins with TarMucks.
And so we've been talking for a while about ways to actually bring TarMucks from our fictional worlds into our real world. And this campaign is our attempt at doing that. So we actually have a comic that we made with Michel Abstracto, who's backstage at this point, about the TarMucks brand and how it became so ubiquitous that you see it in all of these comics, and why it is so important that everyone drinks their daily dose of TarMucks. This involves Cthulhu. That's all I'll say for now. But
I'll say more.
We're also making TarMucks coffee, and we're making a TarMucks travel mug so that you can actually drink your TarMucks from your TarMucks travel mug while you're reading the comic.
Yes,
so drink your TarMucks from your TarMucks while reading your TarMucks.
Yes.
That's awesome. You guys mentioned my Soy Abstracto here. Let's bring him in on the show here so we could talk to him a little bit about what he's been doing with the Kickstarter. What's going on, Mr. Abstracto?
What's up? Glad to be here.
So tell me a little bit about yourself before we get into what you're doing with the team and what you've done in the past, and then we'll get right into your role on TarMucks.
Well, I am a freelance comic book illustrator and cartoonist, and I have worked a lot with Onashi Press. Really, they can be faulted with introducing me into the world.
We unleashed this unspeakable abstract horror.
Right. Like, I'm pretty sure my first actual like released publication was with Jayel.
Wow.
Through Onishi Press, and
Super
then after that, I started. I did some work with Jeff Falsham with his Falsham art in the Osrin West series, and then I've been working with Grouch Couch Entertainment, which is in chat right now. We did a 36-page comic book called The Tales of Intoxica, and before that, I like when I was a teenager, I used to do like comic book strips, and there was a local newspaper that would publish them. And I've done a lot of like D&D character creation, and that's pretty much what I do.
That's pretty awesome, and that sounds a lot like back in the day. What I used to do was create a bunch of punk rock zines. So man, and I know Jayel's done a few zines as well, so he loves that kind of stuff.
We just got one in the mail yesterday, and it's glorious. I'm so happy with it.
Yeah, man.
I love a few of those.
I love punk rock zines so much. Pretty cool, man. Let's talk about what you do with the TarMucks team, because you're taking lead on this one this time, right? It's not because I know a lot of you guys have a handful of really cool anthologies where you have multiple creators, and Jayel, you're also an illustrator yourself, but you guys have Abstracto taking lead on this one, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. The only thing that I didn't do was the writing and then the lettering. The lettering's being covered by Cardinal Ray, but everything else, art-wise, was pretty much me.
Super, super cool. And you guys, with this one, you guys have a special offering. You guys have a composer on the team. We have Mr. David Garinger. We're going to bring him into the show here as well and talk to him about his role and how and what bringing music into a comic book and a coffee Kickstarter. This is number one. It's pretty freaking cool, and I've heard some of the stuff that he's done, like fantastic. But I've never really this is kind of a cool idea to bring music into this kind of thing. I've never really kicked back to Kickstarter that had music offerings. So let's bring him into the show. David Garinger, what's going on, man?
What's up, everybody?
How y'all
feeling?
So before we get into anything in your role here, tell me a little bit about what you do and what you've done in the past, please.
So, hey, everybody, my name's David Garinger. I'm from Chicago, and I am a sound engineer, a composer, a story writer, game developer. But I think most people will know me for the music that I've worked on in the indie scenes. I think to this point, I've done about 60 theme songs for different indie comics, animations, and video games.
Wow, that's super cool.
And it is something that when I came into the space, I didn't see I didn't really see a whole lot of people incorporating something like that. And
Mhm.
it's always been my dream to be able to take stories and be able to tell them to their biggest capacity. So audio has really been important for me. I'm visually impaired. So, I mean, there is a chance that one day I won't be able to see anything. So I feel like being able to bring audio and music to stories is a
Wow.
way to bring more accessibility and to make sure that people of all different places in the world and levels of ability can enjoy these great stories.
That's super cool, man, and very unique. I didn't know that about you. Really, really awesome, man. Tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing here on TarMucks. You created something amazing, and I actually heard this song, and this is kind of stepping out of your element here a little bit, right? You kind of been doing some amazing stuff with this, right?
Well, I think every song that I do is usually the first time I've done a song of that genre. When the way that I sort of pigeonhole myself differently is, people ask, what kind of music do you make? I make music that tells stories.
There you
Some
go. I
people
love that.
make jazz or hip hop or classical, but I like to make music that articulates a story, that brings a theme, that brings out the emotion that is supposed to be there. So it's really exciting doing this one. It's sort of like an electro swing track. I
Wow.
believe this is my 6th theme song with Onishi Press. So I really appreciate them for being one of the first people who gave me a chance when I got into making music for comics. And ever since then, we've been working together. So we got a really snazzy tune. Jayel asked me to play my clarinet on it, so I'll be busting my clarinet out.
That's awesome. That's
So
fantastic.
good.
That's so
good.
cool.
Um,
All right.
but it's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. And you tell us a little bit about Jayel, about the really cool partnership that you guys have going on with this Kickstarter.
Which partnership?
The partnership with the backers.
Oh, for One Tree Planted.
Yeah.
So actually, there was a few different occasions throughout the years where, something would come up and I'd be like, oh, what should we get so and so? And Lynsey would be like, oh, let's get some trees planted in their name, at One Tree Planted. And we've been using it just as like one-time payment services. And we were talking a lot about like what can we do to, most of our stories in comics have an undercurrent of raising awareness about social social issues that should be thought about in creative ways, outside of the box kind of ways, not necessarily a real world argument, but in something a bit more abstract, right? It's like a safe place to like play with how you feel about things. But we were like, well, what can we do that's like also part of our environmental cause, and what can we do towards that? We were thinking about different ways that we could, fund money, and I was, it just occurred to me, I was like, well, we're already getting trees planted through One Tree Planted, and I wrote to them and was like, hey, how do we partner with you guys? And they wrote back, they were like, oh, that's so awesome, thanks for reaching out, here's what you can do, let's set up some way to talk about it and figure out a plan. And so the plan was, for every single backer on every single Kickstarter campaign we get, we're going to have a tree planted in global reforestation efforts from now on.
That's
And
fantastic.
That's so cool.
That's so cool. Right now, you guys have 98 backers. That means you guys have 98 trees. That's already a small forest.
That's a small forest. 98 trees.
If you could look out your window right now and count 98 trees and see how much room that takes up, that's pretty freaking awesome.
I'd have a hard time counting 19 trees. You know what I mean? Like,
Keep this up though. Give us 20 years. It's gonna be trees everywhere.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
you guys are gonna be so upset at us. You're like, oh, damn it, another tree on my way to work. How do I? Damn you, Onashi. Trees everywhere.
Small forest is the best forest.
All
The
forests.
there we go. Cool. You guys have been doing a really cool thing with that. You guys, I've also partnered with a coffee company to bring in some really cool other creators to incorporate some of their work. Let's talk about the coffee a little bit, and then we'll bring our two guests that we have. We don't want them to be left in the green room there.
Languishing.
Yeah, we don't want their
alone
coffee to
in the
get
green
cold.
room.
I hear Russell. He only likes the green M&Ms, so I left him a bowl of green M&Ms in the green room. So
Did you pick out every other
I
one?
had to. He asked, and he asked that.
It's in his rider.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, we
Cool.
love it, but we'll bring them in here in a second. But let's talk a little bit about the coffee.
Yeah. So, okay, we discovered that there is this amazing company called Comics on Coffee that specifically works with indie comics creators to integrate coffee into their worlds, and to actually produce small batch, like one-time roasted, very fancy coffee.
Like top shelf stuff.
Yeah, that you can pair with your comic book. So we struck up a conversation with them, and it turns out they're amazing. We are actually sourcing our TarMucks Get Java blend from a small farm in Honduras, which is where one of the owners of Comics on Coffee is from originally. It's from near where she grew up. And it is completely organically grown. It is grown, by a family farm. It is like sustainably made. It's actually pollinated and fertilized by bats in the area.
Wow.
It's wet washed and then it's sent to the US where Comics on Coffee does their own roasting. So it's direct trade. You're not even like working with any middlemen, and it's about as sustainable and organic and like friendly to the farmers as you can possibly make it. So we're really, really excited to be able to bring that to people as TarMucks Get Java.
That's very cool. And you've partnered with a couple of our other friends here to incorporate some of their stuff into this, to bring you guys some really cool offerings for some of the flavors of the coffee, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. And as you name off the flavorings, we'll bring those creators in.
All right. So first off, we've got the Cthulhu is Hard to Caffeinate decaf coffee blend that is paired with Cthulhu is Hard to Spell the Terrible Twos, brought to the world by Russell Nolte.
Oh, hey, Russell. How's it going?
How are those green M&Ms treating you?
Russell, please, thank you for hanging out with us. Let everybody know what you do, sir. And he's like the coolest person.
Sure. I write all these books and publish all this stuff for Onishi Press. I have a series called Ichabod Jones Monster Hunter in Comics. I've got a 12-book series called The Godsverse Chronicles, which has three graphic novels. And then the thing that I'm probably most known for is editing the Cthulhu is Hard to Spell anthology, which brings me here. But I've been doing it for a while at this point. Every time I look back there, it's hard to believe that it keeps growing.
Just a little while. I know along with the green M&Ms you really love decaf coffee, right? And let us know about what you and Onashi Press have been doing with TarMucks.
Sure. So here's the thing. It's an all ages appropriate book. So like kids shouldn't be drinking caffeine. I shouldn't be drinking caffeine. And also like they already had a regular blend. So I mean, I could have done, they came to me with a couple of options. And I was like, one of them wasn't a decaf. And so I was like, well, like I mostly drink decaf coffee. Mm-hmm. Like, so can we get like a good decaf? Because it's like impossible to find a good decaf coffee. Like,
yeah, it is.
I mean, I try a lot of them. Decaf. Yeah, and they're like even the best ones are like very bitter and astringent. So, I thought that doing a decaf one would be a good complement to what they were doing. But frankly, like I just told them to do whatever they wanted, and they came back with I think originally it was something like caffeine is hard to spell or something like that. And I think the only thing that I did was be like, can we just do Cthulhu is hard to caffeinate? Because then you have Cthulhu at the front end.
Great. Yep.
And then I gave them a bunch of assets and they were like, do these look good? And I said, yeah, they look great. Like, let's do it. And so it was one of the easier collaborations I've ever done. And I really enjoy working with Onashi. I was in their Becoming anthology, and like I just like their vibe, and like I like doing weird things. And they came to me and we were like, "Do you want some coffee made?" And I was like, I mean, I've literally never thought about it until then, but like I don't not want coffee made. And like if you're going to do the work to get it, then like yeah, let's do it.
Right? No, absolutely. Silent Speaker says, "I'm in the car and I'm on the way home. I wanted to pop in and say hi."
Hi.
And we have our last but not least guest in the show. We wanted to bring them in, and can you please introduce them, Jayel and Lynsey?
Oh, it sounded like you were going to
Oh,
start
no,
talking.
no, you go for it.
Okay, right.
Lynsey's got this.
We
She's
are
on fire.
very excited to present Coco is for Cthulhu, or is it C is for Coco?
No, Coco's
for Cthulhu, which
again,
is
following off of Russell's, idea of keeping the word Cthulhu in
Right.
there. Right.
Coco's for Cthulhu is a hot cocoa blend also being sourced from Comics on Coffee, and it is paired with C is for Cthulhu, which is the well-known epic and eldritch kids board book from the C is for Cthulhu publishing company, headed up by Tyler James Vogel.
Welcome to the show, Tyler. Thank you, Lynsey.
Tyler.
I think Lynsey is like trying to look for a co-host job. So I think you are hired, Lynsey. You are hired.
I can't keep up this level of energy very long. I'm just gonna warn you.
Tyler, welcome to the show.
Again.
Yeah,
Right.
too much TarMucks.
With some TarMucks, you can definitely keep up the vibe here. Tyler, welcome to the show. I have not been formally introduced to you, sir. So please, can you let me know what you do?
Absolutely. What do I do? So I'm the publisher of Comics Tribe. We are a imprint that's was founded in about 2011, so over a decade now. But we've been publishing comics, graphic novels, and children's books. And most notably with the children's book, the C is for Cthulhu brand is our children's book brand that we have been building. I've been building with author Jason Charamella, artist Greg Murphy, and artist Joshua James over the past 8 or 9 years. It's been a very big success for us on Kickstarter and Amazon, and it's something that's been a lot of fun as I now have a young toddler at home. He's our primary model and first reader, if you will. And so we've been able to do a lot of really cool stuff with that brand. And we're always looking for cool partnerships and opportunities. And Jayel and Lynsey had one for us in getting some custom cocoa made for our fans and for fans of TarMuck or people that want to support the campaign but aren't necessarily coffee drinkers. But who doesn't love a nice cup of hot cocoa?
Yeah, right. And Jayel had told me about Comics Launch before. Can you give us a little bit of insight to what Comics Launch is?
Yeah, so in addition to being a publisher, my background and my passion has always been education. And when I started Comics Tribe, we started by putting out resources and just sort of chronicling our journey to figure out this whole publishing thing. And in 2015, I started a podcast really focused in what I thought was the biggest, change in indie comics in, forever, which I believe was crowdfunding. And when I started the podcast, about more than half of all comic projects launching on Kickstarter were failing. And at that point, I had been able to have, about 5 successful campaigns and sort of felt like I figured a lot out but wanted to know a lot more. And so I just started podcasting about the space of comics, Kickstarter, crowdfunding. And over the past 6 or so years, that's evolved into a course and a program and a community to connect creators that are trying to do this at a higher level. And many of the great people that are on this show tonight and hopefully buying some of the coffee, I've had the pleasure to work with on their launches over the past couple of years. And it's been one of the things I'm most proud of that I've been able to do, and the community and the connections and the cross promotions. When a lot of times I just kind of sit back and watch the magic that gets made by bringing really cool people together in a like-minded community. And so to be a part of that has been, a real joy of my life. So
I feel like that is a major joy in a lot of people's lives right now. I mean, I've always said the same things that you just said. You know, when you surround yourself with an amazing community that can back you up, and and then you do the same for them, man. You got a great community for life, right? And I think Jayel and Lynsey has created that with Onashi Press. Talk to me a little bit about Onashi Press a little bit more. You guys have you guys have done some really cool stuff, but you guys are it's a green campaign, but you guys are also a safe campaign, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
we do the very best that we can to make everyone feel safe and comfortable with everything that we do, and we're also combining that here on this campaign with all these green initiatives. We're sourcing, you know, everything as sustainably as we can. We're recycling everything that we can because, you know, we just feel like Tyler was saying, you know, there's a really strong community around indie comics right now, especially on Kickstarter. And that's, you know, due in large part to the efforts of people like Russell and Tyler. So thank you. And we've really found that the community is so supportive and caring and kind. And like cross promotion is such a huge part of getting things funded on Kickstarter at this point, that we want to make sure that the platform that we have available to us, we are using as inclusively and as responsibly as we can. Because, you know, it's tough sometimes to be a small indie creator. The world isn't really set up for us, and it can be, it feels like an uphill battle sometimes. But we really believe that, you know, community, as a community together, we have a lot of power to affect positive change. So if we can make, you know, our company and our publications and our Kickstarter campaigns feel welcoming to as many people as possible, that's a way to sort of cement that community and build it into a bigger and better and more helpful entity in the world, I guess.
So how do you guys do that with comics and coffee?
Good question.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because the coffee here is so incidental, but this fictional coffee brand, like I said, it kind of ties together a lot of our various series that are otherwise, you know, on the surface, seemingly unrelated, right? And so to be able to use this thing that ties together our various series to tie our work together with other creators like Russell and Tyler and David and Michel and, you know, other people that we're working with on various rewards. I mean, that's like, there's something so neat and wonderfully symmetrical about that, you know? It just feels well aligned.
Pretty awesome. And you guys, let's actually take a look at the Kickstarter here. And let me share this really quick. And as I do that, Michel, talk to me a little bit about your how you been your excitement about your artwork on this particular book, because I know that you've been doing some really amazing stuff here, and I think you had a lot of fun, man.
I did have a lot of fun because I'm fascinated with the H.P. Lovecraft lore. I haven't actually read any of the books, but like the aesthetic has always been huge for me, especially Cthulhu. Cthulhu is just I just love the idea of Cthulhu. And ironically enough, my first Eldritch story was almost in one of Russell's books, but I still had more artistic learning to do before I could get to that point. And so getting to do this one, it allowed me to express everything that I've always kind of wanted to express. Like the characters don't always have to be gloomy. Like there can be a almost like cartoonist like cuteness to it, which is why I love Russell and Tyler's work so much, because they kind of do the same thing with their stuff. And with this one, I got to experiment a little with doing borderless panels, which I was really excited about. I got to experiment with doing a little bit of color holding with the inks, which I was really excited about. And yeah.
Very, very cool.
I felt like I had another one going there, but it wasn't there.
That's fantastic. And I love this. And I think you have outdone yourself, sir, on this campaign. I've seen some of your other work. Yeah, it's just as amazing, but you've definitely outdone yourself on this one.
Thank you.
Jayel, let's talk a little bit about some of these rewards and tiers.
Well, so I mean, one of the things that we learned through trial and error, sort of intuitively, but then really had broken down for us through Tyler's tutelage in comics launch, was this idea of the simplicity of value stacking. And when I first watched that lesson where Tyler was talking about the value stack and had all kinds of like worksheets in there, I was just like, the value stack, like, right, you want each reward tier to have like what the previous reward tiers had and something a little more, and you want that to feel, like it's in line with how much the increase in cost gets, because it's, as Tyler's always saying, it's value for value. This isn't, this is value for value. It's an exchange. You're purchasing something. So as the rewards go up, you're getting more. And so we want to try and figure out how to, give people at, like someone might be like, hey, I have $5. I'd love to read that book. Cool. Here's a PDF. Somebody else might be like, oh my gosh, I want everything. And yeah, I totally have $250 to get everything. That's so cool. Like, are you kidding me? I'm getting this like list of stuff for $250 and each one is like this awesome thing that I love.
Yeah.
Why not? Right. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I answered the question. I just sort of went off on a little tangent there. But,
well, we've got reward tiers that include just the TarMucks stuff, and then we also have reward tiers that include, as you can see on the screen, Cthulhu is hard to spell and Cthulhu is hard to caffeinate. And then we have a reward tier that includes C is for Cthulhu and Coco is for Cthulhu. And then the reward tiers from there on include those as well. So we've got a increasing stack where you're never losing anything that you got from a previous tier, and we're always building things up. And we've also got add-ons available, so you can always purchase any of the beverages that you would like, no matter what tier you back at.
So Tyler, he said a little bit about taking your course, and he spoke about the value stack. That seems, something that every creator or people you think, oh man, you have those moments where that just makes sense. Why didn't I think of that before? It's just so easy. Like, so talk to us a little bit about the value stack.
Yeah, I mean, something that I've found is that Kickstarter and crowdfunding, it's a little bit different than just people going to like the comic shop where they're just like going and picking up individual items. Like, that's just not how it was designed from the beginning to be. It's interesting now here in 2022 where there's other crowdfunding platforms popping up where they're sort of like, our value premise is we're going to let you do the shop for everything. But Kickstarter from the very beginning sort of recognized that when people show up to your page, they're sort of like, rather than like, I'm looking for the exact thing that I want, they're sort of like, there's lanes of backers, right? Some people get to your page and they're like, I'm a high roller, right? I'm a high roller. I'm going to find, and I need one of everything, right? And some people are like, you know what? I like a little bit of a premium stuff. So I'm never going to take like the cheapest thing you got, but I'm also not going to, break the bank. And so crafting your campaigns so that there are, enough for the different lanes of backers that are in your audience.
I feel like that sweet spot is that like $50 spot. Like almost every Kickstarter that I've backed is usually in that $50 tier, and it's because you get a little bit of everything, but not too much where I'm getting this crazy premium tier, but it still makes me feel like I'm getting some kind of premium.
Yeah, and you want to give backers the option to spend more money with you, because that is the brilliant thing about Kickstarter, and for people like and I didn't get it right away, and it took me a while, but just the way the math is like, only on Kickstarter can you have a $20 book, you sell it, and the average amount of money that people pay you during the campaign is $40 or $50, right? And that is because you can offer upsells and premium options on the platform. And Kickstarter has evolved over the years, probably a little slower than some might like. But now that they have add-ons, you're able to come in and grab any pledge that you want, and then hey, you're a Coco fan, add as many packs of cocoa as you want to it, and you can do that, and it's pretty easy a la carte. But I still recommend creators, when they go into designing their campaigns, they start with have different lanes of backers in mind and have a variety of price points, and don't do the thing that some creators did, and you see it less now, but whereas they like, all right, we're just going to list everything that we have and have like, here's 5 different $5 pledge levels, and 5 different $10 pledge levels, and 5 different $15 pledge levels. Because that gets overwhelming and confusing, and a confused mind has trouble picking and choosing. So lanes is a better approach for Kickstarter design.
I love that. Russell, let's come to you for a second here. You have tons and tons of experience with lots of different stuff. You do prose work, you do graphic novels, you do comic books. You are no stranger to the Kickstarter as well, right?
No, I basically have been drafting off Tyler for my whole career. He had a podcast in 2015. I started one in 2016. He did a book called C for Cthulhu, and I saw that. I was like, man, that's really hard to spell, and that's why I did, because Cthulhu is hard to spell. He has a comics course on Kickstarter. I have a publishing course on Kickstarter. So like, yeah, I've done other things that are not drafting up to him, but it's very appropriate for you to go from him to me, because that's how I feel most of the time.
I'm sorry. I love you. Listen,
you also managed to write like 30 books in that time as well. So
right. Listen, doing all that stuff. One of the first people that when I started doing this podcast thing was that I got a hold of, or I don't know how it happened, but Russell was one of the first people that I had on one of my podcasts. And he's been there from the beginning. I think I've had him on more of the times than anybody. In fact, if he hears somebody's been on my show one more time than he is, he will schedule another one just so he can keep that together.
In fairness, that's also what I do to Tyler.
That's fantastic. So tell me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said it's all about community, people. We keep it small.
There you go. Well, Lynsey, since you spoke up, I need you to tell me your favorite color. No, just kidding.
Oh,
I need to know what is your favorite thing that because I don't think I've asked you guys that in the past, what your favorite thing working on this Kickstarter has been since you guys started this.
That's a good question. Well, I think for me, it's like it's branching out into stuff that is not necessarily publishing. This is the first time that we've really focused on merch in addition to a comic, as opposed to just the book. And it's been really cool because we've met new people just through like reaching out and finding out who makes these things, and we've got to collaborate with some new folks on making some specialized art and stuff, and I don't know, it's just kind of broadened our horizons. But it's also been really cool to see like our previous Kickstarter was like a steady grower. Like we had maybe one day where things evened out across the course of that Kickstarter, but every other day our numbers were going up. And this Kickstarter has not had the same thing happen. It's still like doing great, and we're very happy with it. I don't want to make it come out wrong here, but it's been interesting to see that our community, our backers, our followers are excited by the books that we do. And when we put something out that's not just the books, they're actually a little bit like, oh, this isn't what I'm used to.
Takes
like,
a minute. It takes a minute to figure it out, right?
That actually is like oddly comforting. It's like, oh wow, they really like the books that we've been making. That's so good to know. So
Tyler, you shook your head on that there when she said that that comment there.
Yeah, I mean, for the C is for Cthulhu brand, you know, we have done over the last 8 years 4 books in the series. We just wrapped up our latest launch, and we've also supplemented it with Kickstarter launches for plush toys or and new lines of plush toys and some other related products. But our book launches are always 2 to 3 times in terms of size of backers what our non-new book launch is, which is great. And it's just like I think that's something that is good to know, and also it like not only with Kickstarter, like the challenge is a lot of time, like you can always find other campaigns to be comparing yourself against to, but then after you've been at this for a while, like Lynsey and Jayel have, obviously like Russell has, like sometimes you can get yourself into a bad strait where you're comparing this launch to another launch for something completely different, and yet you like, you know, there's always a piece of your mind saying, you know, oh well, it's got to do this, or it's got to, you know, if we're not at this, all of a sudden nobody likes us. It's like, no, it's apples and oranges, and part of the beauty of it is you get to find out what your audience really responds to, and sometimes, who knows, like the thing that I like about this is like there are people that are going to grab that TarMucks mug and then they're going to look at that like every day for the next year and a half or 2 years or more. And what's the long-term effect of stuff like that? So
no, seriously, my TarMucks mug is my favorite mug. I found a chip on here, and do you know how upset I was? I was so I said, somebody chipped my TarMucks mug. This is not cool. I need it. I can't wait for my new biodegradable cup to come in, because after I backed the campaign. So I'm waiting for that one.
Plastic cup you can throw at the wall. I mean, it'll bounce back and hit you in the face, but it won't chip, you know.
Right, there you go. I'm very, very upset about that one, but
well, there's another part of what Tyler was saying is like, and it's something that I've been dealing with this year, is like a series ends, like eventually, like if you do it long enough, the series will end, or like the creative team at least will move on. And like, you have to start thinking about how you service that community when there are no books there. And like part of that is coffee or merch. Part of that is like trying to get an audio, whatever the things are, but like there are avenues you have to sort of like, you have to keep coming back to. Because like Tyler, I remember when Tyler did his first plush launch, I was like, oh yeah, because you're like you're still trying to exploit this first book. Like you want like you haven't fully exploited book 1 yet. So like the plush gives you a second bite at the same apple. And then like it also expands how long you have until the next book launches, because most authors don't write like a book, like 10 books a year. So you're doing different stuff. So you have to, in most authors' careers, like find a way to get beyond the book or get beyond the series. And that could be another series. But what you find is a lot of the people that love the first series won't follow you. They want Hunger Games. They want Harry Potter. They want whatever that stuff is. They want as much of that stuff as you can give them. And like, as much as you try to give them something new, they just want, they will spend $500 on like the brand that they like, but they before they even try something else. So you almost are forced, once you get to a place in your career, to do merch, to do more merch, or to just branch out, because like I have multiple series, and me and Tyler, I think the last time we were on his show, asked me point blank, like, why are you ending this series that is still exploitable? And I said, because I believe deep in my core that things should end. Like that things should end before they get bad and before you even want them to end. And like when you make that choice, like you're leaving the potential for a lot of money on the table. And you have to kind of move into, okay, like I can do an RPG and then I can do expansions for that. I could hire somebody else to write in that series. And there's all these pieces that you then have to grow on top of. It becomes less about building the series and more about building the brand. And while there's not as much of a demand for coffee or like an RPG maybe as like you're the core thing that you're doing, it's like an essential component of being a creator in 2022. Because even if your series is still continuing, frankly, like you might burn out for 2 years. That's happened. It's happened to me right now. Like you might like move, you might get hired to do a different series and not be able to come back to your thing. So you have to be able to like put other things in front of your audience and try and grow your audience in different ways. And like some of those people who love the coffee have never read the book. And some of those people who like read the book will buy the pin, but all of that stuff kind of works in like in synchronicity with each other. And you have to get very, and finally, the thing I'll say is like, you have to get very comfortable when you've done this for a long time that like every launch is its own thing. Sometimes like Tyler, like I've seen Tyler, he does a launch is $150,000 and he comes right back and he does a launch and it's $10,000 or $15,000. And like, I've never heard him complain about either of those things because every brand is its own identity and each brand has its own floor and ceiling and each product have its own floor and ceiling. And who knows, like Onashi might have put out this coffee and like made $100,000 and been like, oh crap, it looks like we're going hard in the coffee game. It's probably not going to happen. But if you like, it's probably not going to happen to anyone. Like C for Cthulhu is like a very rare thing that for almost 10 years has consistently raised a crap ton of money and consistently more and more over time from whatever they put out. But like, you're probably going to throw something in the water and be like, oh, that wasn't great. Like that was a good experience. Or like, looks like I'm never going to do that again. But sometimes you'll be like, no, there's something to this coffee thing. And like, I really want to keep doing it.
I think there's something to this coffee game, man. I'm serious about it. Jayel, let's talk a little bit about some giveaways here, man.
Oh, okay. So first of all, for anyone watching right now, if you want some free stuff from Onashi Press, you can go to onashipress.com/unexpected and you'll get a free comics anthology that has comics from creators around the world. There are,
10 comics. 10
8-page comic books in that anthology for free, and you'll continue to get other stuff from us, including another comic, the first comic that Abstracto did for us. You'll get that like a week or two later, and some other samplers and all kinds of awesome free stuff. So that's giveaway number one. But really, really cool. So
all right, let's onashipress.com/unexpected for. Oh, there it goes. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. Look, the chat is full. Thank you all. Awesome.
There we go.
Awesome. So, yeah, the other giveaway is we have a little Cthulhu sculpted by How Many Dragons?
Cthulhu.
And it's our Cthulhu with his little clay TarMucks cup. And anyone can enter to win this for free just by commenting on our Kickstarter page what you like most about TarMucks and that you would love that Cthulhu. And then if you back, whatever tier you back at, you get, if you back at tier 1, you get a +1, so you get entered twice. If you back at tier 2, you get a +2, so you get entered 3 times. And the more entries you have, the more chance you have of winning.
Yeah. So this, we don't actually have the sculpture in hand yet. It is being shipped to us right now, but it was hand sculpted by How Many Dragons, and it is probably 2 or 3 inches
2
tall?
inches tall. It's pretty small. It's like nice and tiny, like,
adorable. And it's our version of Cthulhu that appears on the TarMucks logo and on the TarMucks campaign and in the comic. We like to call him Dude Cthulhu. He's got a little bit of thickness to him. He's got a little bit of a beard situation going on.
Thick Cthulhu sometimes, you know.
Thick Cthulhu. And this guy has little gemstones for eyes too. So
Really
if you turn him around, he sparkles a little bit, which
That's pretty cool.
So again, anyone can enter to win this
You
for
don't
free.
have to be a
Even
backer.
if you can't back, you can still enter to free just by commenting on our campaign what you like about it and that you want Cthulhu. Or that you love Cthulhu, that you like Cthulhu, whatever. Just mention Cthulhu and what you like about our campaign. And that's that.
And it's super easy to enter. You just go to our Kickstarter page, Onashi Press, or kickstarter.onashipress.com, and go to the comment section and enter to win Cthulhu.
Yeah, super cool. I'll put this up here. Wait,
Yep.
Kickstarter.onashipress.com, and you guys can enter to win Cthulhu. Listen, I'm still gonna say, and never mind. I can't say it. Last night I was on your stream, and I wanted you to change the name of Dude Cthulhu, but I can't.
Dude Cthulhu? Oh yeah. What?
I can't pronounce how I typed it, so
So
don't even ask me.
Do you have the image of Dude Cthulhu?
I do not. If you could send it to
I can send
me,
it to Facebook.
Well,
Yeah.
So
I'll send
speaking
it right now.
of Cthulhu, I think that one of the most fun things about this campaign is that so many people do have some familiarity with Cthulhu. Like right now, Cthulhu comic books are huge. There are so many different collections that are Cthulhu based. And that's one thing that we wanted to do with this campaign. We were like, if we're doing something that has Cthulhu in it, there are so many opportunities to cross promote with other people who are doing Cthulhu stuff.
Definitely.
And one of the really fun things about that process so far has been looking at all the different versions of Cthulhu that exist right now. So like both on
have a
the
few.
Terrible Twos from Russell and C is for Cthulhu from Tyler, you have these like really adorable versions of Cthulhu. It's like so cute. And some people in the chat were talking about the plushies, the C is for Cthulhu plushies, which are just like incredibly cute. And I also wanted to add that you can add one of those onto your pledge when you back the TarMucks campaign. Just saying.
We're cool. Yeah, I think Russell and Tyler have to head out here in a second. So let's say goodbye to Tyler, and then we'll say goodbye to Russell.
You guys are so awesome, both of you. Thank you so much. We have learned so much from you, and definitely this community would not even remotely be what it is without either of you. And it's so awesome that you agreed to come on the show with us, and it's so awesome that you agreed to, be part of our campaign with us. That's just so awesome.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yes, please. And Tyler, if you have anything that you would like to plug here, any campaigns or your websites or anything like that, if they can follow you on social media, drop that here, please.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for anybody watching this that has dreams of doing what Jayel and Lynsey are doing, is interested in the space of comics, crowdfunding, building audiences and launching them, I just encourage them to go grab their phone and head over to wherever they listen to podcasts and subscribe to the Comics Launch podcast if they haven't already. You can get to all of my stuff through there, and you'll hear great guests like many of the same ones that I'm sure you've had on your show. But and we try to talk about how to take the dreams that are in our heads and get them out into the world and into people's hands. But yeah, I want to applaud Jayel and Lynsey for doing a really great collaboration here. They, reached out to me in the middle of like our biggest launch of the year for the C is for Cthulhu brand, and it's very hard to say yes to anything when you are in the midst of running a Kickstarter. But they made it as easy as possible and a no-brainer to partner up. And we've got a new for the C is for Cthulhu brand. We've got our first Christmas book. So. The night before Christmas, the C is for Cthulhu holiday tale, and on the copy of our of the book, we talk about how the book pairs great with a hot cup of cocoa sitting in front of the fire in front of your Christmas tree. And we're like, oh, well, this is a no-brainer. This was meant to be.
And why not have this amazing C is for, or Coco is for Cthulhu?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so, so I want to thank him for that. And then also, like, I do love the partnership and the plant one tree concept for this. It is, as someone that sees the back end of all of our Kickstarters and, you know, puts in the orders for the thousands and thousands of books that we print and the, you know, hundreds and hundreds of Gemini flash mailers and the backing boards, like the amount of paper that some of these Kickstarters generate, the amount of trees that have to get chopped down to fulfill some of our launches is prodigious. My wife works in the green field, and so I love supporting a project that recognizes that and says, hey, we can do something about that on the back end. And definitely something that I'm going to consider for future projects that we do, just so that we can have a, you know, carbon neutral impact.
Very cool.
Awesome.
We launched. So thank you guys, and congrats on another successful win for Onishi Press.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
much.
Tyler. You're awesome.
Yeah, take care.
Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Bye, Tyler.
Right. We'll see you later. Russell, thanks for hanging out with us, man. You are amazing. Every single time I speak with you, I am inspired.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And we are also a carbon neutral company. I don't know if you guys are carbon neutral, but we like are carbon neutral, and we're paying every year 3 years to go back to when we started the company, so like we can be carbon neutral from 2014. We bought a bunch of different carbon offsets over the years, and but yeah, we finally have like the actual certification of like carbon neutral this year. But we've been carbon neutral like starting 2020, but we're slowly working our way back to 2014. I think we're now at 2017 or something like that. I think we made it back 2 additional years, so maybe 2018. So this was a no-brainer to me, because every year we buy our carbon offsets. Like we usually buy them in June. We happen to buy them in January this year.
Wow.
But it's a ton of trees, and it's actually not as expensive as you would expect to be a carbon neutral company. You know, for a person like my wife and I, who work out of the house and we have one car, and you know, we don't travel as much as we used to. You know, it's like less than $500 to like become carbon neutral for an entire year. And it's not perfect. Like none of this is perfect. Like ideally, like we wouldn't be facing a huge climate crisis, but like, you know, being as capitalism exists, like we have to like work in the system, and it's better than just like not being carbon neutral. It's not as good as like,
for sure,
you know, so I definitely recommend. It's a great whether it's with the charity that Onishi does, or just search for carbon offsets, or Conservation International, or whatever the thing that you believe in is. Really, a very little amount of money goes a very long way when it comes to this stuff. And if you have been thinking about carbon stuff, like I highly recommend, personally or business wise or both, like just, you know, it's a great way to assuage a little bit of the guilt of like living in a society that's burning down around you.
Right.
Yeah, for real. And I really love finding out these things. Like I didn't know until recently that you were a carbon neutral company. And I think it's awesome to hear that. It's awesome to know that, but it's also really awesome to like talk about it really publicly, because, you know, somebody out there is gonna be watching this and be like, hey, you know, maybe that's something that I could do. Then maybe that wouldn't have happened otherwise. You know, it's like
very, very intriguing, actually.
So I mean, like, that's a great point, because like Lynsey and I could have been like, oh, we're going to get trees planted because we believe in it. And since it's something we believe in, we shouldn't tell anyone. And we could have kept it secret and been like, this is our good thing that we're secretly doing.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't.
Then nobody would know how secretly good you were.
Well, no, it wouldn't inspire. Like we just Tyler saying that he's considering doing it. I have now heard like a dozen different creators say that they're considering doing this.
Yeah.
If we had kept this to ourselves, we
Mhm.
wouldn't be hearing that, you know? So my point is talking about it and sharing that we're doing it, not just doing it, but sharing about the fact that we're doing it with hopes that more people will do it.
Right. It's okay to high five yourself when you're doing something good. Woo!
Yeah.
And each other. High fives, everybody.
Well, I'll give you another one, which is like if you do pay artists for anthology work, like not the two of you, but like if you're out there and you do like you can give them the option. We do in our contracts to like either like get paid or donate the amount of funds to a charity of we pick we have a literacy charity and a honeybee conservancy that we've worked with for years that creators, and then I'll match whatever they like, whatever they'll do. I try to match if the funds allow me to do it. Otherwise, I'll just make a donation later in the year. So
that's
all of these little things like
Yeah.
work. And I know that a lot of the creators then like will go look at the Honeybee Conservancy or like whatever, which is one of the ones, or developments in literacy, which we used to work with. So yeah, like that's just another like
very cool,
very easy thing for a publisher to do. Like you're gonna pay out anyway. Like if someone would rather like donate, most people don't like, but like still like just giving the option to do that, or part of your contribution, or say like you said, like I love the idea of like every backer that you get, like you'll donate a tree, which is usually like $1, right? Like it's like $1 per backer. So like as you're doing it, like you're doing like 500 backers would literally make you carbon neutral for the year.
Right.
You know. Right. So yeah, we've been working on that for a long time, and it's nice to see other people like take up the cause also, because it's something that's been really important, as a lot of trees get burned to like it's cut down to make our books and like to ship them across an ocean and to like get them into people's hands. And again, there's no perfect solution. The perfect solution is like I don't know, because even text, even phones and stuff have like their own problems with it. So
ideally I would love to someday be able to print on like bamboo or on hemp paper. It has so much less of an impact, but right now those are not really cost-effective.
They're not
solutions.
even affordable
at
all.
I'm just saying this out into the world and hoping that it will inspire someone to start making cheaper hemp paper or something.
Or bamboo paper. Great. Like bamboo regenerates like 10 times faster than like so fast, and has very little carbon footprint. And like, but it's not as profitable as trees. So anyway, not to bum everyone out, because like this is a fun thing, but like
only
I do love that. But I do love that.
I love what you said about your contracts. We're definitely going to think about doing something like that on our end too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, Russell, if you don't know David, I highly suggest you check out some of the themes that he's done, because he is just a freaking brilliant genius. He's done themes for 6 of our series now, and everyone just people love. Like,
and now that I know him, I'm not letting him go either.
Oh, he's just
well, I have a thing about themes too, so like I'm definitely gonna check them out. And
another thing that I actually was thinking of, Russell, when you said earlier that at some point a series ends and then you want to start looking for ways to keep that series going. We haven't quite figured this out yet, but David also does like table reads and works with voice actors and does soundscaping. And it strikes me that toward the end of a series, doing like an audiobook version or an audio comic could be a really cool way to sort of extend the life of something that has already brought in money. Obviously, like the overhead is bigger than just doing a book, but I don't know. It just popped into my head that that's something that could be a really fun way to like wrap up a series.
David just did the audiobook.
Lynsey, you're giving away my secrets.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
just kidding.
I was gonna say, I think Madeline kind of Madeline Holly Rosing set like the how to really do an audio drama like the right way, where it was a brand new story that was set in their universe that like didn't rehash. when I do the novelizations of our books, I like will expand them into other things. But the problem of having a huge long story is like then you have to do an audiobook for 1 million words, and that's $35,000 as opposed to just doing one like small chunk of it or having another minor character do a thing. But like there's all sorts of ways. And what I like about having a big series or like several is like I don't want to do any of them. I don't want to make an audio drama. Like I don't want to make audiobooks. Like I want to make books. And but like having a successful series means people come to you and they say like, oh, like, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this other thing? Like, and you get the choice to say, well, yeah, let's do that or not. Let's do, or let's not do that. But every time someone does that and you say yes to it, like if they do a good job, like it will expand your brand in ways that you just physically can't expand your brand in that way. You can't, right. Like you just like, like you just don't, and also like you can only launch so many things yourself, but you can have other people launch other things for you and like make tangential stuff like that. So it's really an exciting time, I think, to be like, because there's so many smaller creators, or it used to be like only big brands got like licensing deals, but like with so many like, you know, smaller mid-level people that are doing so many cool things, like you can write for someone else's like comic series, you can, and they could all be indie. Like you can, I just got hired to write in a superhero universe, and then like, you know, you get into like an anthology here, and all of that is outside of the realm of like Diamond altogether. Like there's no Diamond involved in most of this stuff, but you're, you know, I did a story for Wailing Blade, the back of Wailing Blade, and all of these little units of like marketing add up to like a big piece of the pie, and you just have to keep that going. But it's a lot easier to write the same amount of words into 20 anthologies than to write like one book, and to keep that going.
So on that note, Abstracto and I are definitely gonna, I don't know if you want to also, but I'm just speaking for Abstracto. Sorry, Abstracto, you don't have a choice. We're gonna do our best to try to get into one of your Cthulhu is Hard to Spell anthologies.
Well, I guess I can announce this here. So Joey, I'll announce something I don't think I've officially announced this yet. It's no longer my anthology series.
What?
So we just signed paperwork and the rights to creating the next 3 Cthulhu is Hard to Spell series is going to Unlikely Hero Studios and Laurie Foster, who do Elsewhere. So they are reprinting the first 3 trades, the first 3 books as 6 trades. And then they're going to be starting a new series on top of that. I worked with Laurie last year or 2 years ago, and just the way that she like made
grab my books and get. I need to go. They're gonna double in price. Let me go get my.
So what's really cool is the most annoying part that people have told me about the Cthulhu is Hard to Spell series is the first 2 books. There's not a correlating interior story for the cover of either of the 2 books. So I've also gone back and rewritten with Nick Torres 2 stories that are directly related to those books.
Oh my god!
And Laurie's got a bunch of other cool stuff planned that like I haven't talked about. But starting next March or at some point early next year, they're going to take volume 1 and break it up into 2 trades, which are going to be.
Why didn't you lead with this story?
This is not it's not my story to tell. Like this is one of the things we talk about expanding the brands. Like I really believe in what Unlikely Hero Studio is doing. I'm publishing multiple books with them next year. Nice. And we had so many people say when I would tell them, well, there's not going to be any more. They were like, well, why? Like I don't accept that there's not going to be any.
I don't accept that.
So it became like for the last like year, because like Chris is at IDW now. So Chris is the group editor at IDW. Chris Simon, who's the co-editor, and I have no more bandwidth for like doing anthologies. So literally from people, I've been telling them this is the last one for like a year, and they've been so aggressively angry at me for it, that it really became, well, like, who can we, like,
Hurry up
who
and make
does
good
the
stuff
kind of
for me to
stuff?
be in.
Well, and like, you know, honestly, like, I thought of Onashi, but I was like, you know, their anthologies are like a little bit not as action heavy as the Cthulhu books. Like, they're more like spiritual and thoughtful than the Cthulhu books are. I loved working with them on the anthology, but I think, like, Lori, just like, I read all of the Elsewheres, and then, like, I was part of it, and the way she just like vibed in all of the ways that the Cthulhu brand like needed to move on. So you will not be submitting to my anthology series. You'll be submitting to, well, I guess technically I still own the thing, but like, you'll be submitting to Lori Foster and Unlikely Hero Studios, cool. A new series, which will, I think we're planning late in 2024 to do a new volume, because they have to reprint all of these.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So there will be more. It just won't be under your direct.
Yes. There will, they have the rights to make 3 more. So, like, I'm assuming they're going to continue doing that. Who knows? Maybe they'll continue on after that, or they'll say, well, we're done with the, like, Lori is a publisher. Like, I'm not a publisher. I'm just a guy who like makes books and like edits things. And like, I am so bad at all of the machinations of like expanded distribution and all of the things that like a publisher does. And, you know, people are always like, you're a great publisher. I'm like, no, I'm great at putting a book together. That has nothing to do with publishing. Publishing is about like publishing is about what like Charlie does at Scout Comics. Like, it's about like setting a schedule and expanding and talking to bookstores and talking to all of the pieces of being the publisher. And so, like, when I met Lori, I was like, oh, you're like a publisher. Like, you're like Lynsey and Jayel are publishers. Like, they publish things.
We're also
like,
creators who would rather just be creating, you know, like, we're somewhere.
Yeah, they're somewhere in the middle, but like, Lori is like a publisher. Like, she loves putting those pieces together and making them all fit that like I can't stand. So I was really excited to work with her on this.
I do the same thing with like social media, and I don't know why. I listen, here's a newfound thing that I found that I love doing, and it's gonna sound weird. I like
Wordle.
No, I hate it. I almost hate Wordle as much as I dislike the Goonies. I found that I really like putting press kits together and press release. Like those are fun to me. I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah, so I like building websites. I don't know why I like building websites. I just did one today. I just enjoy that process, and without doing it for years, I would have never known that I like that particular skill.
I enjoy bugging Jayel to fix my website because I messed up.
Joey's got a list of like a dozen people that I just any day will just be like, hey, can you? Yeah, I got you. Just
look. Do you see what I just did?
I got you.
I'm like, Jayel, did you just see what I did to the website? Yes, dude. I'm already on it.
I'm already fixing it before you even notice that you broke it. I'm already fixing it.
I'm watching you break it right now. Yeah, look, I love that you guys are highly collaborative on this thing. You guys are always collaborating with people, but one of my favorite people that you guys have collaborated with is Russell Nolte. Thanks, dude, for hanging out with us. Yeah. Please let everybody know where they can find you on social media, all that good stuff.
Sure. So you can go to my website, russellnolte.com, or if you want to learn more about book publishing for Kickstarter, I have a accelerator with Monica Leonel. You can find at kickstarternovel.com, or you can read the book we wrote about the subject at Get Your Books, just called Get Your Book Selling on Kickstarter. We've also got Facebook groups and a podcast that we're going to be setting up later this month. Nothing as fancy as like what Tyler has, but probably kickstarternovel.com or kickstarternovel.com or our book, Get Your Book Selling on Kickstarter, would be a great place to start if you want to learn more about books, bookish Kickstarters. which is a different category than Tyler dominates.
And it's a completely different beast altogether. Thanks a lot, man, for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Head out. Can you just confirm one thing? So the books that we have from you, see, Cthulhu is Hard to Spell 2, the Terrible Twos, right? Those are
First editions.
First editions, and after this, they're no longer going to be first editions. They're going to be reprinted.
So,
right?
So I'll go further than that. Like, I have about 800 copies of this book, of the volume 2, and about 300 copies of volume 1. And like, when they are gone, like, Wannabe Press no longer will be publishing this series at all. So like, they are collector editions, and that is actually what I tried to do with all of the books. So the reason they're available in like mostly hardcover for the comics is like, these are the collector editions. Like, if a publisher comes along and wants to like smash them together, break them apart, like do whatever thing that they want to do, then they have then like, these are the collector editions that I never planned to reprint. I did reprint Ichabod Volume 1 in hardcover, because I had 2 and 3 and 4, and we did a different layout scheme. But yes, the books that are on that campaign, they're the last time that it's really going to be focused on the have a focus on the hardcover. And so I highly recommend, because it is my goal by the end of this year to have no copies of any Cthulhu books. Like, that's my goal. Other creators might have them. But we are trying to like get rid of all of the inventory we have and make deals with other publishers to do a bunch of our other books too. So
cool.
Is that just for Cthulhu's Hard to Spell?
I mean, I'm looking. My stated goal is that like Ichabod, Katrina, all of those books will find other publishers that will work for them. The only deal we've officially signed is the one for Cthulhu is Hard to Spell. But we're always open if anyone's out there.
There we go.
Fantastic. One of those first editions, you can get it on the TarMucks campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. This is aside from the Ichabod one later this year, like, this is the last time that we're going to be heavily focused on the hardcovers for comics.
Wow.
So I highly recommend you get them in now, because I wouldn't have done my job very well if by the end of next year we have books left.
Wow. All right.
Well, if anyone can sell them and move them, I believe you can.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I look forward to seeing you guys again.
Amazing.
And bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye.
And then there were 5.
Bombshell just wrapped right in the middle of this whole panel. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. I have multiple copies of his hardcovers in my collection. So,
Smart.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Auction those off and buy a house in a few years.
Yeah, I also own almost every copy of everything that Onashi Press has printed.
Those will be worth a lot of money someday too, I'm sure.
Does anyone here not? Abstracto, David, either of you missing any of our stuff? Because we'll get it to you.
Physical copies, yeah, but I don't know what specifically. I have everything digitally.
Right.
Yeah.
David, I feel like I sent you a whole bunch of stuff a little while back.
Which is why I don't know which ones I meant, because I feel like you have a lot of stuff, so there's no way I have all of it. But you have given me so much that I don't know which ones I have and which ones I don't.
Let's remind everybody of the giveaway one more time, Jayel.
So yeah, anyone that comments on our campaign, that whatever it is that they like most about TarMucks, the campaign, how we're running it, anything, whatever it is you like most, and that you love Cthulhu or you want Cthulhu, you're automatically entered. And then if you back, whatever level you've backed at gets you bonus entries. And that's that.
That's it.
Pretty simple.
It looks like we have a few entries already.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah. We have it looks like there is one entry, maybe 2. I gotta keep looking.
Let's see.
But yeah, very, very cool. We have an entry here. I love Clay
Alright.
Cthulhu. He looks cute, and I love that monster in TarMucks. Looks cute and sweet.
Awesome. Oh,
Um,
and they even spelled Clay Thulu correctly, which is
Challenge.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
it is definitely a
It's hard to
challenge.
you're
spell.
not required to spell it correctly to be entered to win, just so you'll
Clay Thulu is hard to spell.
know.
Very
We're
cool.
also giving away a digital comics anthology to anyone who is here and watching the show and in chat. You just go to onashipress.com/unexpected and you can get a 80-page collection of short comics that all have unexpected twists. Some have twist endings, some are just unexpected generally. And then we will continue to send you awesome freebies and cool stuff after that also. So
And yeah,
Very
it's,
cool.
you'll continue to get free things, and I think that includes from pretty much everyone here, because Abstracto did a comic for us, and David did an audio comic for us. So yeah,
yeah, look at
Very
all-
cool. Very cool. We are still sitting out 98 backers.
I know.
Amazing. We're sitting sitting here.
if
Everybody- go ahead.
Hang on. When we hit 100 backers, we are going to add onto everybody's rewards a copy of what's it called? A special preview of Cthulhu Invades Wonderland from Orange Cone Productions
by
Yeah.
Travis Gibb,
by
yeah.
Travis Gibb.
Oh, nice.
So we're extending
Everyone
the
gets that.
Cthulhu-ness. As soon as we hit 100 backers, everybody is going to have that added to their sort of like rewards bundle. So
All right, we just need
folks-
2 people. Come on, 2
Yeah.
people to back this right here.
if you're out
Yeah.
there and you're thinking about it, you will not only get that and whatever other rewards you sign up for, you will also
And-
get a tree planted for you. I mean,
You get trees planted. You get all these really cool things. You even if you back it and then you go into the comments and say, "I want Clay Thulu," you will be entered in to win this amazing thing here. This amazing. What is this? This is a clay and then
Polymer
it's
clay,
cooked,
like
Fimo, I
sculpted type.
believe.
sculpted, and it's.
I don't know what brand it is, but
It's
it's okay. Maybe Fimo, yeah.
Okay.
And it's little 2-inch minifigure.
Very
hand
cool.
sculpted by
Hand
How Many
sculpted,
Dragons, who
right.
makes amazing little fantasy creatures all time. And we were really, really lucky to get a commission in with
Yeah.
her for Clay Thulu.
Wow, very, very cool. Very awesome. So make sure you guys are heading over. I'm going to pull that up again. I'm going to pull that because I have it in the comments. It is kickstarter.onashipress.com. I'll pull it up for you guys so you guys can see it if I may have missed it here. No, here it is. Boom. Kickstarter.onashipress.com. You guys go there and you guys comment. It's a free giveaway. So all you got to do is to enter is comment.
Mhm.
This is if you do all these things here, you'll get double, triples. Whoa! If back at tier 5, you get 5 points.
Yeah.
Does that mean you are
In
entered 5
addition,
times?
so you
Is
get
that
5 entries in addition to the entry that you get for commenting.
Right.
Oh my god! So you get 6 if you
6
are
chances to
back
win.
at tier 5 and then you comment.
Mhm.
You get 6 full entries.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
all right.
And a whole bunch of amazing rewards also. So, win-win.
Very awesome. Yes. Hi, my babies are in here. They want to back Onashi Press. They want to go to kickstarter.onashipress.com and they want to comment that they want Clay Thulu.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
guarantee
do
that's what
gooders.
they want to do. That's what they want to do right now. Come on, guys. I'm checking. Here we go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this like marathon style now. like here we go. Here we go. Go ahead.
David, are you gonna bust out the clarinet? Are you gonna play us?
Or we could play the
Yes.
campaign video.
Let's
which features
let's
music.
play. Let's actually. I want to hear. Do you, David? Do you have the music handy?
I have an MP3 of the instrumental.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful if we can do. I don't know if we can play. If you can play it for us, because I know you
So
have the
I would need
equipment.
to export it and do some stuff like that.
What's that?
I said I would need to export the song and send it over
That
to you.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it here.
If
Let's
we
see.
can play the
Let's do this.
campaign
Let's just do
video,
the campaign video because the campaign video has it.
that
Let's
gives you
see.
the
Yeah,
basics.
and if you can do it full screen, it'd be so super cool.
Let me do this. I'm gonna pull it up.
I'm going to
Okay.
go ahead and say that the song on this video is possibly David's most caffeinated song yet.
Okay, here we go. Wait, where's it at?
Seems like it's not playing.
I don't think it's playing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the video.
It sounded good though.
It did sound good, but it's not
That
playing.
sound great.
I looked over at my monitor and it wasn't playing. I don't understand why I didn't do that.
I don't know.
Oh, because I'm playing. It's playing from the wrong one.
Oh, technology.
Yes, technology. I probably should have. I got to close out this.
I could
thing.
share our screen and play it over here.
I've got it. I was just sharing the wrong window. I had both. I had two of the Kickstarters open on these,
Look,
and I
folks,
played.
it's
the
been a
wrong one.
long week for all of us.
That is the understatement of the week.
Here we go. This should
Right.
play
Yeah,
now.
this worked.
Hi, I'm Lynsey G. I am the co-founder and editor-in-chief of Onashi Press and the co-writer of TarMucks Origins.
Hi, I'm Jayel Draco. I'm the co-founder and lead designer of Onashi Press, and I'm the co-writer of TarMucks Origins.
I think we can all agree that starting the day without coffee is a horror too eldritch to be endured.
Not only that, but Cthulhu and his friends feed off the energy you give off when you're sleeping.
Luckily, TarMucks brand corporate coffee is here to keep you awake.
Together, with illustrator Michel Abstracto, we've created a 16-page comic about why you need to drink your daily dose of TarMucks Go Juice to keep the world safe and the old ones at bay.
We're pairing this eco-friendly, sustainably produced 16-page full-color comic with a bag of direct trade, sustainably sourced Get Java coffee.
And an earth-friendly, BPA-free, top-rack, dishwasher-safe, biodegradable, reusable TarMucks cup.
Together, Onashi Press and TarMucks Coffee are going to save the world. And we're not stopping there. We've partnered with One Tree Planted to plant a tree for every single backer on this campaign.
We're bringing this project to Kickstarter, a community-oriented platform that brings creators together with like-minded readers.
To entertain, enlighten, and do good in the world.
Kickstarter also helps bring creators together with other creators.
We've partnered with 2 other paradigm-shaking Cthulhu comic creators to bring this campaign to life.
You can also order this decaf blend, Cthulhu is Hard to Caffeinate, paired with Cthulhu is Hard to Spell 2, The Terrible Twos, by creator Russell Nolte of Wannabe Press.
You can also find Cocoa is for Cthulhu, a hot cocoa mix paired with the C is for Cthulhu Eldritch Kids board book.
That's in addition to our TarMucks Coffee, reusable mug, 16-page comic, all available here alongside
The TarMucks theme song by David Garinger of Next Arc Studios, stickers, postcards, and Eldritch art prints from Jayel Draco.
Cube Cthulhu, a cube craft paper toy of Cthulhu, and this laser-etched, multicolored, light-up TarMucks crest.
With your support, we're ready to save the world with you. Just scroll back up, find the pledge level works for you, and smash that back now button.
Thank you so much for your support. We couldn't save the world, make these cups, comics, and coffee, and plant these trees without you.
Thank you. Onashi Press and TarMucks. Damn it.
With Michel Abstracto,
We're pairing. Nope. I don't have it.
you can also order this decaf blend.
Nope. Sorry.
It's also available alongside. Maybe I should wait for that helicopter. And this Cube Cthulhu Cube Craft paper.
Ta-da! All right. We're good.
Fantastic. I love that. Super cool. Did you guys
The
have fun
helicopter part
making
killed
that?
me.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so much
We
fun.
actually filmed that in Central Park in New York City.
Oh, very cool.
We had the month of June was supposed to be dedicated to preparing this Kickstarter, and we had multiple mishaps happen. So in mid-June, we were in New York for a family wedding, and we were meeting up with a friend of mine, Joseph Patrick Conroy, who is a filmmaker, director, cinematographer, producer, in Central Park, just to hang out for the afternoon. And I said, hey, can you film this for us? Because we didn't have time to do it before we left. On
We
this
just
trip.
did it in like one sitting. It was like, all right,
Wow.
cool. That was the whole thing. Boom.
Yeah, it was a really nice afternoon. There were
was
dogs and
beautiful out.
helicopters, but it was a really good time.
Yeah, aside from the dogs and helicopters, that was a little like.
And actually, while we were sitting there, I think I saw Zoe Saldana walking by. Like
awesome.
this woman who looked an awful lot like Zoe Saldana, who was wearing like a baseball cap and big sunglasses, so like real incognito style, came walking by, walking like a little white dog, and she just, I was like, is that? I don't know. I did not approach her because she clearly did not want to be approached if it was her. But I think we might have seen Zoe Saldana, which is
She's like, holy crap, they're filming. What are they? They're here for me. They're
probably
here.
like, oh no, put on the sunglasses and the hat.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
You know, I never really get starstruck, but I always love seeing people in like obvious incognito like outfits, like with like big flappy hats and like big sunglasses on and like a big raincoat on. Like, don't look at me, I'm just a normal person. You know?
I'm a That's hilarious. Yeah. You guys could have had her tell people to buy some Cthulhu.
I was
coffee.
definitely thinking about it. Like if we could have gotten a picture of her with our TarMucks cup in hand, if she wasn't clearly trying to remain incognito.
Quick, take a sip of my coffee. There's no backwash. Don't worry about it.
Oh, there's no COVID.
I'm not trying to steal your DNA.
She took
person I don't know who is clearly not incognito.
Oh my god, hour 2 just got real wild. Like Lynsey's talking about taking people's DNA. She's trying to clone people.
It's Tracy Queen.
Anyway, so
Total Tracy Queen move right there.
That,
there you go.
I wanted to say, Abstracto, the image that we're using as sort of the cover image for this campaign of Cthulhu with coffee. I'm looking at it right now. Jayel has it up on like the big screen above the computer.
The TV.
And I'm just looking at it and thinking like, I love the wet effect that you have going on it. Like he's so shiny.
He's kind of greasy.
He is very, very
Slick like a slug, maybe. Like he's like mucosa.
Does he leave a trail?
You know?
I do picture Cthulhu being like slimy and gross. That is pretty gross.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a collaboration between Jayel and Abstracto as far as like conceptualizing what this version of Cthulhu was going to look like. And I wondered if Abstracto might want to tell us a little bit.
Yeah,
about
please.
that
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So my initial design was a lot closer to I want to say almost like a chibi version of Cthulhu.
Mm-hmm.
And Jayel was really wanting to express the how big Cthulhu is, like the kaiju effect of Cthulhu. And so we kind of sat down and him and I like to draw back and forth to express our ideas because words are hard. And, he was showing me how, like, if you make the body big and the head smaller, it kind of gives it a more mountain of a look. And so we just, between the two of us tossing back and forth ideas, we came to the design that it is. Even though my community is 100% convinced that he was designed off of myself.
I wouldn't say that you have a tiny head. It's just not.
I don't feel like
say
my
that you have
beard is
tentacles
tentacles
for a
either.
beard. I wouldn't say that.
I mean, that tentacle beard.
I mean, if we covered you in oil
Right. Right.
I also love.
And I've been
that-
working on it, but the horns haven't come in yet.
Me too.
You gotta
trying.
push harder.
Right.
The trick is to
Come-
like plug your ears and your nose and your mouth, and then breathe out as hard as
so
you
like
can.
a
You know.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
but
There you
maybe
go.
maybe don't do it while we're live though. Things could go terribly wrong. But
All
I
right,
also,
let's see. We're still sitting at 98 backers, guys.
come on, folks, what do we got to do?
What are we doing? We're not
I
gonna
think
do
David has to
anything.
bust out his clarinet.
No. Before that happens, I also wanted to talk to David a little bit about the process of putting together the song, which is still ongoing. Like the song is not finished, but I am a person who, like, obviously I'm good with words. I wouldn't say proficient. I'm all right with like visual art. Making things in those ways makes sense to me. And I love music, but I am not a person who can put music together. Like if you asked me to compose something, I would have no clue where to start. So I'm really interested to hear from you, like, what is the process like? Where do you start? How does it develop? Like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Wait, everybody hear me still? Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and if you heard the Kickstarter video, I can promise you that the official song sounds a lot more polished. So I'm definitely going to be excited to share that with everyone. When I compose, I like to compare my process to the art process, like drawing, like coming up with an illustration. I think that's a lot easier for people to visualize. So if you hire an artist, one of the first things they're probably going to ask you for is a reference. Do you have something that looks like what you want it to look like?
Mhm.
So it's the same in my process. I start with the audio reference, though. Show me a song or a couple songs, not too many, because, you know, too many songs the choices can make it too varied. But to have a couple pieces of music that really represent what that person is looking for is usually a really good start for me to be able to extrapolate how to approach the composition. So I've been playing piano and clarinet for 20 years now. I'm classically and jazz trained. I studied music in college. So one thing that I'm really good at is being able to take a piece and dissect it to its bare bones and really figure out what are the elements that make this unique, so I can bring those out, but create something that is original, that still has the energy of the reference. And then I start sketching, you know, and listen to, you guys don't hear how many sounds I go through, like trying to figure out what works. But I'm sure it's the same as an artist who like does hundreds of sketches, and then they finally send one that's like, okay, you like this one? No? All right.
So I agree, because I am a audio engineer. I've been audio engineer for about going on 12 years now, and I've since I kind of dabbled in what you do a little bit. I made beats and did all that good stuff, but I since have moved from that space to the podcast audio engineering world, and so I completely understand when you are like, when you're conceptualizing a song or a theme song or something like that, the very first iteration, it's not anywhere near what you know, to the second or third or even fourth iteration of that, right? I guarantee your fourth iteration of what you have right now is probably far and come and gone, right? So like
it's like when you hire an artist, especially the first time you hire an artist, this was my experience. First time being someone's client, I've seen their artwork, so I know what to expect. They send me a sketch, and I'm just like, "What the hell is this? This does not look like your art. This is not how you draw." You learn to trust the process. Once they get to the end and you see it all the way through, you're like, "Wow, that was cool."
I think that's key. Trust the process. Jayel, can you talk a little bit about the process? Because there's been times where I've watched your process, because you do a weekly show. You do a couple of weekly shows on where do you do it? Twitch. I don't know what I
Twitch.tv/Jayel Draco.
There you go. But I've watched the process, and I'm like, man, what the heck is this guy drawing here? And then finally, you got stuff like freaking Dude Cthulhu, and I'm like, dude, I could not conceptualize how he
Dude Cthulhu,
began that.
show us what you're talking about.
What's that?
You want to pull up Dude Cthulhu? Show everyone what you're talking about.
I'm gonna try. I'm pulling him up right now, so we can talk about it here. But
Cthulhu
yes,
is like the logical conclusion of the Cthulhu look that was started with Abstracto.
Dude Cthulhu right here.
Dude Cthulhu abides.
Very cool. Very cool. But talk to me about the concept of in the art, like the art design of a character, and the beginnings, and then finally getting something like this.
So a lot of the work for me happens in my head. At this point, I have so much experience illustrating that I can generally just illustrate what I want to illustrate. I don't have to go through many sketches, because I've trusted the process enough times now for myself that I've developed a confidence where I know if this is what I'm going for, that's what it will look like. The hardest part is knowing what I'm going for. So that's stuff that I do while I'm washing the dishes, while I'm watering my plants, while, it's all happening up here and I'm thinking about it the whole time. Sometimes even when I'm working on other things, I'm thinking about the next project also. Like my brain.
Jayel truly never rests.
I'm like freaking Dr. Manhattan sometimes. Like I'm working on how to tie in a project that I'm gonna do 5 years from now with a project that I did 5 years ago while doing a project. It's like that's what my brain does.
Yeah. I feel that my wife. I was talking to her last night about some of these things. She's like, I love what you're doing, all this stuff that you're doing, right? But this new thing that you and Abstracto are doing. Like, do you really have the bandwidth for that? I'm just like,
it's like, well, inspiration didn't really ask me if I have the bandwidth. She just showed up and said, I brought wine.
Right? I love that.
This is life now.
I just roll with it, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So when the wine comes, how do you just roll with it? How do you just put your glass out there?
So, the first thing I always try to do is be open to the beauty and strength of the idea. Is this an idea that I can fall in love with? Is this an idea that I can invest myself in? Is this an idea that I can be willing to be stressed out over? Is this an idea that I can have my back hurt for? Is this an idea that I'm willing to have my knuckles burned for? If not, fuck it. Or maybe see if someone else is interested in it. But if this is an idea that I can fall in love with, that I'm willing to hurt for, then the next step is to think about the logistics. And once Lynsey and I have talked about the logistics and we think about how it could fit into our production schedule over the next few years, then I decide if I'm going to start working on it or not.
Or if we're going to, hire other people to work
on it. Or
outsource
outsource it, or you know what I mean? But first, the biggest thing is trying to imagine the idea as fully as I can and be like, is this something that I can be so in love with that I will sacrifice other options, other ideas, other things that I could be doing? If yes, then we go on to the next step, which is logistics.
Well, if yes, then he comes out of like the shower, like
and
wrapped
goes,
in a towel.
Lynsey! My way into
is that the inspiration for Dude Cthulhu?
I just came up with an idea for a new...
Look.
Dude Cthulhu was Lynsey's idea. I was like,
I'm a big Lebowski fan, let's say.
She's a big Lebowski
I'm
fan.
a little Lebowski urban achiever.
She's a little big Lebowski fan.
And that was all me. Just
that's fantastic.
I was like, I need something to draw, and I want it to be fun, and I want it to be, along the vein of these other things. We have Cube Cthulhu, we have Cthulhu, we have Mini Cthulhu, we have, Clay Cthulhu. I'm like, what else can I do? And she was like, Dude Cthulhu, and I was like,
Yeah.
Buds. Also known as Dad Thulu, says
Yeah.
Galatia.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then I
I
just started
think you
looking
do.
at references of the dude, and this was what came out.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
think Dad Thulu. I think he wears cargo shorts and a polo shirt, tucked in,
Yeah.
with some Birkenstocks. I think that's
Yeah.
Dad Thulu.
And is always holding like what do you call it? A spatula?
His
Standing by a
wife,
grill.
his wife,
There's always a grill with a lawnmower there.
With,
his
like, the
significant
fold
other's purse.
down on it. The beard might be a little more trimmed, you know.
Oh, a lot more.
trying to-
Yeah.
No, he's got
There's
got to
no-
have a diaper bag and a stroller in the other hand.
Wait
That's
for the
Dad
little
Thulu.
baby tentacle monsters. Aw.
Baby tentacle monsters crawling around
Not
inside.
my dad, says Galatia.
Baseball cap, also very important for Dad Thulu, I think.
All
I
right.
think also, in my actual practical application, like doing an illustration, I mean, that I have worked out. So I can like blob out a basic shape and then go in and rough sketch over it, and then go in and ink over that, and then go in and put in my flat midtones, and then go in and do shadows, and then highlights, and then a rouge in between, and then it's done. Boom. But that's one illustration. What I was talking about with like whether or not it's something I can fit in is more like when I get an idea for a comic, like 8 pages or 24 pages, or 5 52-page freaking issues. It's like, okay, that has to be something I'm willing to commit to. It has
Can
to
I
be
weigh in
worth-
on this for a second?
Yeah.
I feel like another really important step that I know Jayel does, because him and I talk about it frequently, to specifically being able to adapt and maintain the bandwidth, as you put it, is scheduling. You want to schedule everything you do, especially as a creator, because everything you do takes energy from you. And so if you want certain things to happen, you fit them into a schedule. So that way, if you follow your schedule, then it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And I feel like that's been monumental for me handling my own bandwidth.
Yeah.
Does that work for you, David, with music? Like, are you able to like schedule at this point, I'm going to write this thing and compose it? Or is it just like, you got to wait for it to come to you?
With wine.
With wine.
It's a little bit of both. And I totally resonate what you were saying, Michel, and with Jayel's workflow. I recently transitioned from being a full-time teacher to being a full-time creative. And one of the big things that I learned is there isn't someone to set a schedule for you. Your day, there's 24 hours and you need to decide how to use them. And those first 2 weeks, I just watched Hunter x Hunter pretty much the whole time. And I was like, this can't be my life. I mean, I love anime, but it's like, if this is what I do every day, then I'm not going to get anything done. So it does take it takes more accountability. It takes more discipline to be a self-employed creator, to be self-employed at all. And I think sometimes people feel like it takes less. There's a mentality that, there's this job, it's sucking up all my time and I don't want to do it. I just want to do what I love. I want to be able to spend my time on the things that I want. Yeah. It's a really nice dream. It's a lot harder to actually do. It takes a lot of discipline. So just be mindful of that when you're thinking about making that transition.
Yeah, I agree, because I did the same thing. I transitioned from working a job, I was a merchandiser, right, stocking shelves and traveling to another place and doing the same thing, and it was great because I didn't have nobody physically a boss in the same place that I was. I'm traveling and I'm doing my own thing. It was really cool, right? So I went from doing that to doing this stuff 100% of the time, and it's you have to find a balance, and it's really hard. And when you're like, I like today, I had to force myself to do some of the work that I needed to do today, because all I wanted to do was just lay around and do nothing and play with my kids and watch TV. But I knew I had a list of things that I had to get to. So and what I did was I actually, my wife, I have to thank her for getting me organized and putting things actually in an actual list and checking them off as I do them. And it may seem silly to put something in a list, just
Not at all.
it's easy.
We live by lists.
You put it in a list, you check it off, and you get it done.
Nope.
I have done so much today
Mhm.
where all I wanted to do was just lay out and do nothing, but I got it done. I got it done first thing. I got it all done quick and easy. And I was looking at this list and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much. But if you, I sat down and I just did it, and I had the rest of the day to myself,
Wow.
So I mean,
That's awesome. If I can share one other piece of advice,
Yeah.
it's just to echo what Joey just said there. Anytime I feel stressed, overwhelmed, anxious as a creator, oh, there's so many things I need to do, and I don't know where to start, what I'm supposed to do. Literally just sitting down and taking 5 minutes to write a list. Even if I don't do anything on that list,
Seriously.
it gets everything out of my head and onto a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to feel like I'm forgetting something or there's something that's going on that I don't know about. It's all in front of me, and we start to schedule it out.
Yeah.
Lynsey is like a list ninja.
I'm
She
a
has
list
lists of
machine.
lists. It's
I-
like,
I'm like-
whoa.
I
I
almost
started doing
always
that.
have some sort of paper in my hand, just in case something happens in my brain that I have to write down or I'll forget it.
It's
But
amazing.
I also want to say that one of the advantages of lists, particularly for me on paper, but they're, you can do it however works for your brain. Every time you check something off of that list, you get that little hit of dopamine.
Mhm.
It's like, good job, you did a
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I live
Yep.
for the dopamine shot at the end of doing a
Oh
task.
yeah.
There's actually a lot of psychology behind that. I was discussing this just last night.
Like,
with,
here's my list here, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but
Oh,
it's
wow,
there's
very
that's
Yeah,
impressive.
that's a list.
that's my list, and that's just for today and
Drop
yesterday.
your to-do list in the chat.
It's huge. Well, I also have a few clients, so there's a lot of stuff on there. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
You're good. I was just talking last night to Turkey from the Grouch Couch and Spooky Sprinkles from Spooky Sprinkles Art about this very subject. There's actually been psychological studies done on the benefits and the science behind list making, and a lot of especially behavior analysts and behaviorism in general. They will utilize this not only for the benefit of being able to remember what you're doing, knowing what you need to do, taking away the apocalyptic effect, but there's also a chemical thing inside the brain that whenever you complete it, it's all like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also find that having a list, like, you really can, because I get that same overwhelm, like, oh, there's so many things to do, I can't even figure out like where to start. And literally, like, just being able to pick something off the list and then get it done. Just doing the easiest thing on the list gets my brain into like, oh, we're not panicking anymore. Now we're doing things mode, and I can continue with that, which is really important for someone like me. Like, I go to bed late, I wake up late, and sometimes the pull to just keep not doing anything for the rest of the day after I've woken up late is
It's
so
easy.
strong.
You're like, oh, this pillow just feels extra nice.
Right.
Let's sleep.
Extra pillowy.
But by the same token, I think it's also important as like a group of people who work for ourselves to say that, like, sometimes I think for most of us, we can be the meanest boss we have ever had.
Absolutely.
Like, take perfectionism to the utmost level.
Never give ourselves time
Never give
off.
ourselves time off. And sometimes I think it's important to know your own normal like energy level, because sometimes when you wake up and you just want to lay around all day, it's because you haven't given yourself a day off for 3
And you
weeks,
need
and
it,
it's
yeah.
important that you listen to
have-
that.
David said
I
one.
don't want to interrupt really quick, but we are at 99 backers. We need one more. We need one more.
Trees.
99 trees planted on the wall. No,
In the
sorry.
ground.
I had to try.
Yeah, and if I can piggyback off of what Lynsey was just saying, it's funny because I sort of made the analogy, or like when people are working somewhere full time, they're like, I hate this, I hate my boss, I want to work for myself. And then you work for yourself, and you're like way meaner than your boss was to yourself. I need to work all the time. I need to answer calls 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh my
why
God.
would you treat yourself like
What do you
this? I
mean you
thought
want a
were running-
bathroom break?
Oh yeah, I never give myself
you wanted to
breaks. I
go.
just you're like getting uncomfortable, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Just gotta write one
You're like,
more
I have to
email.
get this one thing done, please, just one more second.
that they say like if you do what you love, you'll never have a day off in your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Strongly recommend if you're working for yourself from home, have a cat or a
Who
dog.
forces you
They will force
to
you.
take time with them. Yeah.
Or a million
Yeah.
children
Or kids if you're into
And knock-
that, you know.
knock on your door.
We got some cool comments in chat here. So Tech was saying, like, yeah, we can't always control when creativity hits, but we can
Yeah.
choose when we take on refining the concept.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's
I
the other
agree.
thing about accountability, right? I've been streaming every Tuesday night and every Thursday night on Twitch for the last 6 years, right? That's 2 6-hour blocks a week that I know I have time open for whatever like footwork I need to do on something. It's not the logistics part, it's not the planning part, it's not the marketing part, it's just like whatever drawing I need to do. Like I have that time set aside for that. So when an idea hits me on a Monday, I'm like, ooh, maybe I could fit this into my stream, 2 Tuesdays from now, and like I just put a pin in it and let the idea develop, I think one of the biggest things that's like a threat is when we become like a happy dog who just wants to chase a squirrel, and like then you have projects that like get so much right up front, but there's no follow through because you didn't think about what the plan was.
That's
or
where
what the,
scheduling comes in.
and that's
as
where
a
lists
practice,
come in
yeah.
and scheduling and all this other stuff. It's so that you can see that idea to fruition.
Why are you calling me out, Jayel?
What? No.
Hey, Jayel's calling a lot of people out right now. It's not just you.
A lot of folks.
Shots
Take that
fired.
advice. Take that advice.
Yeah, it's really like I think that one of the most important things about doing this kind of work is learning to like wrangle your own brain. And everybody works differently. Everybody's got different things that work for them and the way that their brain operates. But like figuring that out is a huge part of the process of working for yourself. Like, what reward system works for me? What is the carrot I can dangle in front of myself? Like for me, it's like donuts. If I tell myself, like, if I do a good job at the end of the week, I can get myself one of those fancy donuts from the shop downtown. Like, that's a real big motivator. If I offered that to Jayel, would not do the trick. Just
Maybe a nice fancy beer would do it, or like some really good dark chocolate, or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something fancy.
You got to know what works for your brain and then do that as hard as you can.
Yes,
Very
because I'm the kind of person to where I have to find something that both makes me want to do something, and I can't just go get it myself. Because if mine was just a donut, I'd be like, well, I'm just gonna go get a donut.
Yeah. It's like, ooh,
So
if
I have to
could,
find
could
ways
get
to be
a
like,
donut.
hey,
Or-
hon.
The reward.
or I could
It was
just
like
get
I'm
a
just
donut.
thinking about it now. I'm just gonna go get it. So I have a question. How do you guys get past like that slump where you're like you have these ideas, you have these things that you want to write down, or like maybe you got a story, but you just don't feel like doing it, and you see yourself putting it off. Like, how do you get past that?
Little bits, break
The
it up.
trick for me is that a few years ago, like 10 years ago or so,
A few years ago.
I had made
Hey,
an
10 years is
immutable
short
law for
sometimes.
myself. Every single day I would draw in my sketchbook. And no matter what, I would not turn the page until I considered that page a finished graphite illustration. And then I would turn the page, and every day I would add, maybe some pages would take me 5 days, or some pages I'd do 2 or 3 pages in a day. But no matter what, every day I would draw, and no matter what, I wouldn't go on to the next page until I finished the page I was on, even if I didn't like it. Even if I knew it was coming out weird or not going the right way, I would just finish it. And what that taught me is that the thing you're working on right now needs to matter to you, but it's already 500 things ago. Finishing it, bringing it out of you, learning how to complete expressing something. That's the part where you're mastering yourself. You know, that's the part where you're really disciplining your ability to communicate whatever it is that you love, whatever it is that's in you, you know. And so for me, if you want to get into comics, like, do a 1-panel comic, like those little Far Side single panel comics. Do a single panel comic, and then when you're done with it, do another single panel comic, and when you're done with it, do another single panel comic. And when you feel confident about doing single panel comics, do a 2-panel comic.
That's actually
And
how
keep doing
Jayel got me into
2-panel
comics.
comics until you feel confident. And when you feel like you can imagine doing a 2-panel comic and doing it, and you know you can do it with no problem because you've done it enough times, then do a 3-panel comic, you know? And just keep adding more weight until you're bench pressing like 500-page comics, you know? But you don't start there. You don't go into the gym and go up to the heaviest weight set and go, I'm going to do that, you know? You start with like a little like 1-pound weights, and you go like this 50 times, and then you leave the gym like, oh, you know? Like, and then like 2 weeks later, you're on like the 5-pound weights, and you're like 100 times, and you're like, this is cool, you know? And then you leave, and you're like, but then like, you know, whatever, 3 months later, you're like, you know, or whatever, 3
Speak
years.
for yourself. I'm still on the
know.
5-pound weights.
Cool, then stay there. Some people just have like, if you find your comfort level is like 1-page comics, averaging 4 to 5 panels, that's perfect. Just keep doing that.
Lynsey's like, I'm just gonna do the 5-pound weights, just more repetitions. What are you guys doing with all this weight and less? Like, you guys are nuts. No, I completely agree. You know, little by little, it makes sense, right? It makes complete sense. But it's just like, it's one of those mind blowing things. Like, duh, why didn't I think about that? Well, you don't scarf down the whole pizza. You eat it slice by slice, right? Like, go ahead.
If I can add one more thing, just to piggyback off of that, motivation doesn't often come before you start something.
Right.
More often than not, it comes after you start. And that's really important to remember, because if you're waiting around to feel good about starting something, you might be wasting your time. Start it. Do the thing that you've been waiting to do, and see how that makes you feel. You know,
that's why it also helps to
planning on going to run.
Yeah.
If you're planning on going to run in the morning, and every morning you wake up and you're like, I don't feel like doing it, make your goal to put your shoes on and go stand on your front porch.
No, man,
putting your shoes on and standing there motivates you to just, you know what, I'm out here. I'm already basically doing it.
Funny. I guess I better do something.
Yeah. Now they're all staring at me like,
I know.
What are they gonna do?
Listen, I bought the whole track suit and the shoes, man, but I just haven't made it outside that door.
Right. Yeah.
So here's what I need you to do: put your shoes on and just go stand outside. Don't even make your goal to run. But once you get out there, you'd be surprised how motivated you might feel to keep going.
I love that. I love that. Step outside. Put your shoes on. Step outside. That's amazing. I absolutely love that. Come on, guys. We're still sitting at 99 backers. We need one more. If we do, Lynsey's gonna
I'm not gonna go to the bathroom until another backer pledges.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that and Lynsey's gonna eat a ghost pepper. Who's doing the ghost pepper challenge at 100 backers? No, just kidding. Nope. No.
Not me.
Not me.
No, super cool. We're I think we're already at 2 hours. Let's go ahead and close this out. We didn't hit our 100 backers, but I almost guarantee that we're gonna do this. We're gonna post this. You guys can rewatch this. Make sure you guys are heading over to. I'm gonna pull it up again. I know I put it in the chat, but here it is. Kickstarter.onashipress.com. You guys can head on over there and back this thing right now. Amazing stuff. Jayel, give us a breakdown of what everybody can grab in this amazing Kickstarter.
Wow, he gave me the hard job, huh? All right, so I'm gonna scroll down to the full package and
Over on the comments.
oh yeah. Let me go to the campaign page. So if you go to kickstarter.onashipress.com, you can get yourself
There it is.
you can get the digital comic about TarMucks
TarMucks
and
Origins.
TarMucks Origins. You can get the PDF of TarMucks throughout the Oneshiverse, which is basically just spotting all the different times that TarMucks has been used in our various comics. You can get a print copy of TarMucks Origins. You can get a 5x7 Cthulhu print, a 3x3 TarMucks sticker, a printout of the CubeCraft paper toy of Cthulhu that we're calling Cube Cthulhu, that you cut out and put together, and it makes a little one of these type of jammies, only with Cthulhu. You can get the amazing MP3 of the TarMucks theme song from David Garinger. You can get the outstanding earth-friendly, biodegradable, BPA-free plastic TarMucks mug, which is top rack, dishwasher safe, and it's just freaking awesome. It basically
It'll keep your beverage piping hot.
or ice cold. You can get 2.5 ounces of our direct trade, super organic, super awesome. What is it? Honduran city roast Arabica coffee. You can get a PDF of Cthulhu is Hard to Spell, The Terrible Twos, as well as a hardcover of Cthulhu is Hard to Spell, Terrible Twos, which we just found out today is now a collector's item because they are not going to be making more of them. You can get 2.5 ounces of what?
Someone in our personal chat said that we are going to call these tar mugs.
TarMucks. So you can get a decaf blend. Cthulhu is Hard to Caffeinate coffee, 2.5 ounces. That's going to be a Colombian city roast, city plus roast.
It's a medium dark.
It's like medium dark. You can get the C is for Cthulhu board book. You can get a digital of that as well, and you can get 2.5 ounces of cocoa is for Cthulhu, as well as getting the 6-inch plush of Cthulhu from C is for Cthulhu. You can get a Lego minifig of Cthulhu. You can get a hardcover of Ichabod Jones' Monster Hunter, which also is now a collector's item. You can get a color-changing, remote control activated, light up, laser etched TarMucks crest, which is super dope. We have one here of Tracy Queen.
How cool would that look right here on my wall in the background?
Yeah.
Right here.
So this is the Tracy Queen one. And you can set it to change color.
Oh, that is so cool.
And it's hard to tell with the reflection, but it's really freaking cool. Oh, look, Abstracto has the Onashi Press. So
I got the pack one. It's in my room.
Yeah, you got the pack one. Oh, we got a party.
Oh, I don't have anything. I'm not that cool.
You'll get a TarMucks one, don't worry.
So we made one with the TarMucks logo, and it's freaking awesome looking. It is so cool. Let's see if I have a sticker of the TarMucks logo to show you real quick. That's this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This only in a laser etched light up crest. So that's super cool.
So cool.
You can also get a Onashi Press swag pack, which comes with several mailable postcards and several vinyl stickers. They're like super duper cool, all from all of our different series, and
I have like a ton of them on here. Here's one of them.
That's not all. You get thanked on our website and in the book, and get one tree planted
for you.
Do I only have one Onashi Press sticker on there? I think I do.
Look at that! Ooh, the Great Nations crest.
That's a good one.
Very cool. Oh no, I also have some dirty sticky socks.
Oh yeah,
those are vital for the Onashi collection.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're not really an Onashi collector unless you have those socks.
I know. I don't even have the actual socks. I have the sticker of the sock.
Well, I mean, that counts. So yeah, how is that? Was that enough? Did I go on too long?
Yeah, that's very cool. Let's see.
That's like a top tier reward.
I don't think you went on long enough because we still only have 99 backers. Come on, guys. That didn't convince that one person that's holding out.
Just
All that
to
cool
reiterate,
stuff.
when we hit 100 backers, that means that every single one of our backers is going to get a digital copy of the exclusive convention-only preview of Cthulhu Invades Wonderland from Onishi Productions. That actually just wrapped up on Kickstarter, so people will be able to get that through our Kickstarter before they'll probably even get physical books of that if they back that on that Kickstarter campaign. So like, it's a good motivator. And we also have a whole bunch of other rewards that we're going to be adding of digital versions of a whole bunch of other comics and graphic novels and even a novel when we hit other backer milestones as well.
So 100 backers gets you Cthulhu Invades Wonderland. We want to continue. We want to keep going because 110 backers get you Ichabod Jones. And these are all digital copies. And then from there, there's
everyone will just get those. That'll be unlocked for everyone.
Everybody. But we're one backer away from getting the first digital unlock.
It'll happen as soon as the show is over.
I know. We were here for 2 hours. You guys didn't back. You guys didn't. But you guys did. But that's amazing, though. You guys hung out with us and had fun with us. That's what we actually wanted. We wanted you guys to hang out and talk with us.
And also, you know, this was an AMA. This was a stretch goal that we unlocked.
Right.
So, like, you know, probably a lot of the people here already backed, and that's why we're doing
unlocked.
this.
And which is their
show.
show.
Unlocked this show,
guys,
which was such a wonderful thing to be a part of.
And here we go. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag here, because if I do, I'm gonna say this just because it's gonna light a fire under my butt. Me and Abstracto have plans to create something amazing for you guys. He's already got some amazing concept art for it. We also have a creator helping us consult on the book, on the writing. So this thing's actually going to happen, and we're not going to do it without Onashi Press.
Woo!
So when do I get to hear the theme song?
The theme song as soon as David Garinger makes it. Because listen, and I'm going to say this: it's a punk rock theme. It's a punk rock theme book. That's what I'm going to say.
David, have you ever done any punk rock songs?
I don't know. I was like listening through my music. I've done like rock-ish stuff, but like I said, most music that I do is like the first time I've done something like that.
I feel like I've heard you do some stuff that has like speed surf vibes that could almost feel like punk rockish.
Yeah, I did like a sort of Beach Boys type track, which is also my first time doing that. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, I gotta tell you guys, I gotta jump in here. We have 100 backers. 100 backers. Yes, we did it on the show. Good job, guys. Good job. We have unlocked Cthulhu Invades. Super awesome.
All right.
First digital unlock, everybody. Everybody who has backed, all 100 backers are going to receive Cthulhu Invades Wonderland and all those amazing things. Super cool.
Trees in our grove.
100 trees. We have
100 trees.
That's
all these trees gonna be like the same place. Can we go visit Onashi Forest one day?
So actually, the way our partnership works, we can request to have them in like a specific country or another where there are areas that need reforestation really badly. Or it just goes into their pool and that gets disseminated amongst all of their global resources. So probably it's more like percentages of trees everywhere. But I mean,
that means Onashi has trees everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So we can't put it in David's yard, is what you're saying. You can't put it in David's yard.
Oh yeah.
So maybe at the end of the campaign we could do like a poll and see what people prefer. You know, should we do it all in one place, or should we diffuse them out amongst the world? That could be fun.
Yeah, I was also talking to Jayel. I was like, I wonder if we can talk to One Tree Planted and maybe send you guys out to go plant one of the trees or something somewhere.
I mean, we could volunteer, but I watched a video about like it's actually pretty recent. If you go to like their Facebook page, I think it's from like last week or something. It's a video called "How to Plant Trees Like a Canadian," and they were just showing, and like there's two people made videos who work for One Tree Planted of their how they do it. Man, it looked so grueling and gnarly and complicated and like.
Well, and a lot of it is like he said, they're specifically targeting areas that need to be reforested.
Yeah.
So a lot of the places that they're going into are like desert or
places that have been
or
messed up by fire or like logging or like just all kinds of stuff.
That's actually really cool though. How awesome.
Yeah, and
how awesome would it be to volunteer?
They also plant indigenous trees to the area that they're planting in, so they know that they're not, invasive species that are going to take over the whole ecosystem.
And they like distance them and space them out and mix them where it needs to be mixed. Like they know what they're doing. There's a science behind it. It's eco-science. It's not just like I put a tree up, like it could be like, oh, that kind of tree is actually going to kill the rest of the trees in this area. Not cool, bro. Like.
But I actually did see, I don't know the details here because I didn't look into it that closely and I don't remember, but One Tree Planted does offer opportunities for donors to like go on a tree planting vacation where they will put you up in like a really cool like tree house Airbnb type situation.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think that they have like sweepstakes, like, the more trees you plant, the more entries you get or something, and then somebody wins. So I don't think that's something we can just be like, yeah, we're totally doing this now.
Maybe we can buy tickets to do it.
Maybe. I'm
Let's
not
talk
sure
to
how
them.
it works.
Dude,
Yes, I say we look into it because how cool.
Tree planting vacation. What?
But how cool would that be to kind of give a really awesome insight to where the backers' trees went, right?
Yeah, we might be able to ask them to even just like take a photo of whoever's doing the planting, whatever's happening, and
definitely, and update the backers and show them where some of the trees went.
We actually do have some photos of the coffee farmers in Honduras.
We had them
up
to
on
our
the
site
campaign.
today on the campaign.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's a family farm. It's a family-run business, and there are real people running this coffee farm.
Yeah, they're not like those.
We're getting it directly from them. So
reptilian people who plant those big name brand coffees.
No, they're mostly also farmers who are being taken advantage.
Yeah, I was just kidding.
Very cool.
Now I
All right. Super cool. I'm glad that we hit 100 backers.
Yeah,
we're still not finished, guys, though. We still have what is it, 12 days to go.
Yeah.
We still have 12 days to go.
Yep.
So come
and
on.
We're gonna be unlocking more stretch goals and more backer milestones as we go. And now we've got this awesome giveaway happening where you can just go and comment that you want Cthulhu and tell us what you like about the campaign. And that will enter you to win Cthulhu, as you can see here.
Definitely.
So that'll be a really fun thing that will be gathering momentum as the campaign goes on. We'll probably be drawing that name out of the hat right around the time that the campaign ends. So stay tuned for that.
So far, we only have one entry. So if you guys have backed and you guys want to go, you don't have to back to enter to win this Cthulhu.
Yeah.
You just got to go to Kickstarter.onashipress.com and comment and say you want Cthulhu, and that'll give you one entry. Super cool. Very, very cool. All right, please, Mr. Abstracto, please let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
On Instagram, it's Mr._Abstracto, and then from there you could pretty well find all my other stuff.
You have a all my links too, right? Are you still using that or no?
I am. I just can't remember the it's a long drawn out thing.
Right.
David, where can everybody find you?
Everybody here can find me on most social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We don't have much stuff on TikTok, so don't follow us there. But it's nextarcstudios.com. NEXT arc, like a story arc, studios. Your next arc starts here.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Looks like we have. It says I wasn't sure if my comment on the page counted or not. I guess I should comment again.
Comments again?
Yeah,
Go for
comment
it.
again.
Yeah.
Comments
More
again.
comments is better for us.
We'll know that you are entering to win when you put basically the word Cthulhu in your comment. So
Even
that's-
if you
that's
spell
how
it
we'll track
wrong.
it.
In fact, points extra if you spell it cosmically wrong. Like wonderfully wrong.
Creative spelling encouraged.
You know.
Yes.
There you go. Please, Jayel and Lynsey, let everybody know where they can find you.
We are Onashi Press everywhere.
ONESHIPRESS. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can go to onashipress.com to see what we've got on our website.
Definitely
and in
check out our
online store.
website. Just saying.
But the best thing that you can do right now is hit up kickstarter.onishipress.com and check out the TarMucks campaign. Enter to win Cthulhu and back if you are able or interested.
Definitely.
And if you forget the Kickstarter.onishipress.com, if that's too like, wait, where does the dot go? Like, you could just go to onishipress.com. Right at the top of our page,
it's all
there's a
over
link to the
everything.
Kickstarter. I mean, we made sure you can get to our Kickstarter from pretty much anywhere. You know.
Yeah, it's I've been butchering the the link all night long.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And also, everyone who is here and watching right now, you can hit up onishipress.com/unexpected to get a free comics anthology download that we think you will enjoy.
Yes,
So thanks for
definitely.
being here.
And
That's
then
our thank you gift.
I'm gonna try to play this. I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's see. Can you hear that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm gonna
Sounding
play
good.
this right here.
This is 20's Radio Guy, interrupting your regularly scheduled programming with an
Oh, yeah.
message from our
It's a
sponsor,
little low.
everybody's favorite brand of fruit juice, TarMucks Coffee. Sure, we all drink TarMucks daily, but most don't know the full story behind this iconic brand.
This is David's song for or a piece of the song.
Be sure to drink your
Lyrics
TarMucks
stick 'em. I'm working on those now.
once at bay.
I love it. It reminds me of Scum and Villainy.
It's gonna have some clarinet in there, I believe.
Today without a strong
Yeah.
cup of coffee is a
Jail's gonna rap too.
Jayel?
David, you promised you wouldn't tell.
I'm sorry, 20's Radio Guy is gonna rap.
Yeah, there you
Ah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious. This is more of a swing song. I don't know if there's gonna be a rap.
Oh,
Just
there is.
watch. Just
He's
watch.
like, all right, you guys can pull it off. If you guys can
If
pull it off,
there's-
I will.
You can rap to anything
Yeah.
if you do it well enough.
Like I said earlier, when people ask what kind of music I make, I say two things: the music that tells stories, and music that has two genres that don't have any business being next to each other.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
It's always
Yeah.
the matchup.
Iranian
go.
inflation is the name of the game.
Abstracted, there seems to be a black hole, a void on your shoulder. It's like I'm just
Yeah,
looking into nothingness. It's got ears.
It didn't give me much of a choice.
Your nothingness has ears.
Oh, cute little
Wait, was that a new piece that I just heard you add to this right here? Hold on, I gotta rewind that.
I don't know, Zoe, but when I do, I drink a tower full of TarMucks coffee.
What?
That's awesome. I haven't heard that part yet.
I don't always win,
I hadn't heard that before.
Wonder whose voice that was.
but when I do. That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
The very fate of the world depends on you.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh my god,
Awesome,
that's a great
awesome.
ending. I love it.
Super cool. Thanks, guys. This has been a whole lot of fun. And I am Joey Galvez. You can find me Joey Galvez 1984 or Geek Collective. Just head on over to geekcollective.net and you can find me all there. All kinds of cool stuff. I'm not going to promote myself or anything on this right now. You guys can just head on over there and do all that stuff and check.
I heard you have a really cool website at thegeekcollective.com.
Listen, .net because I couldn't do .com.
Right. All right. I
Somebody wanted
heard.
me-
So how is it actually spelled?
what's that?
No, you.
The Geek Collective.
He just said he's not going to plug himself, so I'm trying to get him
I'm
to
trying not.
plug himself.
All right,
without
okay.
realizing it.
Head on over to geekcollective.net, and if you guys are comic book creators or are any kind of creator whatsoever, you guys need some public relations services, we offer public relations over there. We also offer marketing services. We're also a podcast network, so if you're a podcaster, head on over there too. We also offer hosting, advertising. If you want to add, we also have advertising tiers as well. We do it all. We'll advertise your guys' stuff right there.
Pretty handsome website you got there.
Pretty cool. And yeah, I had a really cool guy take care of my website. Jayel took care of my website, so it looks gorgeous. So make sure you guys do that, all that cool stuff. I'm done plugging myself. This is supposed to be for you guys.
No, you're the host. We love you, Joey. You're awesome. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you. We'll do it again some other time. Make sure you guys are heading over to Kickstarter.onashipress.com. We are 100 backers. We have unlocked our first digital. We get 10 more backers, and we're going to unlock the next one. So make sure you guys are doing that now.
We're going to have David play clarinet live on video.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I can commit to that.
Yes, you guys heard it here. You guys heard it here. Next one, we're going to have him do live. We're gonna have him play his clarinet live.
Actually, David, you did make a little video of yourself that I saw on
It was
Facebook
awesome.
Playing on your song.
How do we share that?
Could we put that in an update to our backers? So
You guys can. Oh yeah, Phil. If I shared it with you, it's so you can share it with other people that might
Awesome.
like it.
Okay, cool.
Thank you guys again. It's been an absolute pleasure allowing me to do this for you guys. Thanks again,
Joey,
Thank you.
Abstracto, chat. You're all wonderful.
And me.
And
Thank
Lynsey,
you
you're
guys.
wonderful.
And Lynsey, you are the brains of everything that we do. So you are our backbone. So you will never be forgotten. Thank you.
That sounds really ominous.
You will never be forgotten.
You will never be forgotten.
Nice brain you got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
That's a direct threat.
There you go. There you go. All right, like that. We're out of here. Thank you guys for watching me. I don't know if this is gonna be a new show. It might. We don't know. Maybe Jayel just forced me into creating a new show.
I think that was part of the plan all along.
All along. Thanks for
Random
watching.
plans for people. It's weird. I don't like it.
There you go. Thanks for watching
love
Geek
you all.
Collective presents TarMucks. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.